Okay, in this video, we're going to make the screwdriver case. You can see you've got directions. They ask you to first do a new folder under your IED called screwdriver case, and then create a document called screwdriver case. So I've done that already. And I've also selected the top plane, and I'm going to say I'm going to do a sketch on this top plane. Okay, I'm going to grab the inscribed shape right here. It's an inscribed polygon. Start it at your origin and pull. Let me do that again. So you're going to start it at your origin and pull up. And this ends up being a what initially? A hexagon. So I don't want a hexagon. I want a pentagon. So I hit enter for that. And that takes a 5-sided figure and puts it there for me. Now, let's just say that you didn't have it exactly like this. I could have used my horizontal constraint and made this horizontal. Mine is already, so I think if I do that, it's not going to change anything. But you could have done that to make that on top so that it looks just like what we have in our document. Okay, so we've done that. It says, let's see, the diameter is 2. So we need to figure out the diameter. So why don't we go ahead and grab our dimension tool and grab that circle and come out here. And I'm going to make that 2. And that's the correct size. Okay, everything is all set. Then it says finish the sketch. Okay, I'm going to hit finish. And the next thing it says, then extrude the pentagon up. Okay, so I'm going to, I always like to grab my little top corner so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to extrude, and I'm going to grab the pentagon. I want it to go up. Okay, it's going in the right direction. Now, notice this is something new. It says that I want to hit the draft button, and I want it to be at 45 degrees. So I'm going to change this to 45. And I want my circle to go the opposite way. Okay, so that's good. And then how deep is it going to be? It's going to be only 0.25. Okay, so that looks like that's all set. And I'm heading the right way. Okay, so I'm going to hit click. Okay, so that's very nice. That's exactly what I wanted to look at. Okay, I'm going to go to my next page. And now it says extrude the top of the pentagon again. So I'm going to go for another extrusion. So grab my extrude. Grab just the top of the pentagon. And it's going to go up. And I'm going to have it be a draft again. So I'm going to grab the draft key. This time I'm going to go 3 degrees up. The arrow's going the wrong way. I'm going to switch that direction. And that's going in the correct direction for the other arrow, but this depth is going to be 1.25. Okay, so that's good. So now I have that at 1.25. Now that doesn't look correct. So let me just go over here and say edit. And did it grab the 1.25? It did. So everything is okay. All right, good. So I've got that good. All right, next. Now it says time to use the loft command. Also another new command. From the top of the object, offset a work plane, and then add a sketch to the new work plane. Okay, so that's something new for us. So we're going to grab a work plane, and that's here. Okay, so what am I going to do? So I'm going to grab the work plane. I want to put it here. And how high up am I going to, I don't want to replace it. So let me click out of that for a second. Why don't I grab this and then say work plane. All right, well, let's see. So I want a work plane. I want it to offset a distance of 0.25. So this is 0.25. 0.25. Okay, I don't know if it did that correctly, so let me just see. Okay, I don't like that, so I'm going to go out of there, and I am going to... Oh, here, let's do this. Let's use the command this way. Offset plane. That's better. I like that better. I like that better. So we right-clicked and then picked offset plane. Okay, so now we're heading in the right direction. Make this only 0.25. Okay, and that should do it. So now I have that work plane. You see where it says plane 1? That's what I want. Now it says create a circle on the sketch of the plane you just created. Okay, so let's right click and say new sketch. I'm going to do it on that plane. Okay, so now I'm going to do a circle. So let me do it so that I can see what I'm working on. Okay, that's better. So let me get my little circle, and I'm going to start it at the origin, and it's on the work plane. Okay, so what's happening here? Okay, so I'm starting on this plane. So did I select the correct plane? Let's see. So I'm selecting, there we go, that plane. Okay, so I have that plane selected, and I'm going to put a circle on it, and here it comes. Okay, so then I'm going to say, okay, what's my diameter going to be? 1.25. So that's going to be 1.25, and let's see how that looks. Okay, that looks good. So it's not quite beyond the confines of that pentagon that I have. Okay, so that looks nice. So now we're going to try the lofted. So again, I'm going to kind of come this way so I can do that. So what are we going to loft? It says create a circle on the top and then loft the pentagon. Okay, so I'm going to loft. So I need the loft command. So I believe I can accept the circle. This is your loft command. So you're going to loft from the pentagon, so light up your pentagon, to your circle. And that's exactly what I want. That's the loft. Now, do they have any requirements? Yes, they do. Well, actually, no, it's just lofted, and mine's lofted, and that's beautiful. Okay, good job. Okay, so next thing, it says extrude the circle on the top to a distance of 0.75. Okay, back to extrude. I'm just extruding the circle, and it's going up a distance of 0.75. Okay, and what else do I need? I need a draft of 3 degrees. So go to draft, 3 degrees. Don't forget to draft the opposite direction. So flip that. Okay, so we've done that, and we're going to click the check, and that looks great. Okay, moving on. Now it says fillet the top circle edge to 0.06. So make sure the entire circle highlights. Okay, so then we need a fillet. Okay, this is the fillet, this is the chamfer. We're going to use both of these very shortly. Let's do the fillet first. I'm going to grab the fillet tool, and I'm going to tell it what edge. Now I want the entire circle, okay? So that's the entire circle. That's good. If only part of it lights up, that's not going to work for you. Okay, I need a distance of let's see, fillet top 0.06. 0.06 was here. And do I need anything else? No. So I'm happy with that. So let's accept that. Good. Okay, next thing. Here comes the chamfer now. It says, and then chamfer the very bottom edge. So I want all the edges on the bottom. So I'm going to grab my chamfer key, and I'm going to grab that, and that, and let me see if I can move this so I can grab what I need, and that, And now I'm going to have to rotate a little bit so I can grab other things. I need to grab 5 pieces. Let me just see what I'm doing here. Okay, I'm going to grab that, and I'm going to grab that. So do I have 5? Yep, I have 5 edges, so that's perfect. Okay, 45 degrees. I'm heading the right way, and I have a distance of 0.1. If you don't have that, make changes. And my tangent propagation is checked. So I'm going to check that. And we're good. Okay, let me go back to my isometric, which is right here. Good. I'm going to get rid of these planes. So I'm going to hit the P. Good. There we go. Okay, so now it says create a blind hole on the top of the case centered with the origin. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sketch there. So I'm going to right-click and say New Sketch. Okay, I'm going to say N so that it faces me. Now, I don't think I can put a circle directly on there, can I? Oh, yes, I can. Excellent. So let me just put the circle directly on there. It says create a blind hole at the top of the case centered with the origin. The hole needs to be a diameter of 0.25. Okay, so this is going to be 0.25, and I'm going to accept that. Okay, so that, I'm going to hit enter, and I'm going to accept that. Now I have to extrude it, so I'm going to again grab my little corner here so I can watch the progression of the extrusion. And I'm going to grab this guy and grab only my hole. There we go. Grab only that hole. And I'm going to go the other way. So I'm going to flip this, and I'm going to remove, and I'm going to go down 1 inch. So it did that. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to check that off. And sure enough, that looks very good. Okay, next thing. Now create another sketch on top and duplicate the image below. The small circle needs to be aligned with the origin. Okay, so new sketch. Here comes a new sketch. Okay, so let me turn this so I can see what I'm doing. All right, so now I'm going to grab another hole, and I'm going to come here first, and I'm going to go vertically up. Okay, so see how I'm aligning it? That little dotted line shows up. So I'm going to put my cross right on top of that little dotted line, and I'm going to create a hole. Okay, what's the size of that hole? It is 0.16, so it's going to be 0.16, so I'm happy with that. And now let's get our dimension, so it's a little bit smaller than the other one. I need to have it spaced a distance, and this is from center to center. That has to be 0.35. Okay, did it do that? I'm not sure. So let's do that again. So I'm going to get back into that sketch. I'm going to edit sketch 4 because I don't think it took my dimensions. Did it take it? No, because I want it to be 3.5. So let me get back in here, and that's going to be 0.35. Enter. Okay, so it took it. So that's good. So let me close out of that. Okay. And we now need to extrude that. So again, I like to look at my little top. Okay, we're going to extrude, and I'm going to I only want to do this sketch. So let's see if I can get only that sketch. Around here. There we go. Just that sketch. Go the other way, and we're going to go a distance of 0.75. Okay, so something happened. So let's see what happened there. What if I go back up here and I say edit. Okay, that all looks good. And so I'm going to accept that. And then let's make that visible for one. And then let's extrude that. Okay, so that looks good. It's going 0.75. All right. And it says result in no geometry. The parts either do not intersect or are totally contained. So why do I have that? That is interesting. Well, let's see what happens. Oh, I'm removing. That's why I want to remove. Do you see how that worked out? So I was adding, which didn't make sense to the program. So I forgotten to click remove. So I hit remove, and now life is good again. Okay, good. Okay, next thing. Now it says time to create 4 more holes using the circle pattern. So there's 2 circle patterns. One is in the sketch and one is not. We're going to use the one that's not in the sketch, I believe. So we need to figure out where the circle pattern is. So let's look around, and it looks like it's right there. So I'm going to open that. I want the circular pattern. Okay, so it says, when using the circle pattern command, remember to change from part pattern to feature pattern. Okay, it says part pattern. I'm going to pull this down and change to feature pattern. Okay, so then I need to do a couple of things. I need to find the axis of the pattern. So the feature pattern is going to be that. Okay, and the axis of the pattern is going to be that. So did it take my feature pattern? I hope so. Let me go back up here. Did it take that? Yes. So I think everything's okay. All right, so you see how it did 4? I don't want 4. I'm going to want 5. So I'm going to change that to 5. And I'm going to select. And there you go. So it changed it to 5. Now, what was interesting is I didn't select, I guess, the whole hole. So that's why I didn't do the extrusions. So we're going to do that again. So let's go to edit. So just in case this happens to you. And I'm going to change this. And I want to change it to the whole extruded hole. Okay, so I want that. I want it to be a feature pattern. And I need the axis of the pattern is this. Okay, and the features to pattern is this. So it should be okay. So let's see if it's going to do it. No, so let's just start that again. Sometimes you get into a bad cycle. So I'm going to say delete that. Come back up. I'm going to go to circular pattern. Okay, I'm going to change to feature pattern right there. I'm going to select my feature. And I want the whole thing. Okay, so that's the feature. Here's my axis. Okay, and I want 5. Now, did it select my axis? This is my axis. I want 5, but I want them all. Okay, so hold on. So let's come back into, it says just face, and I want the whole thing. So that's interesting. So now I'm going to play around with this. So I need feature to pattern. I just wanted that. This is my feature that I want to pattern. This guy. My axis to pattern is this. My feature okay, so we'll do it on this. What's extrude? Okay, I think I want that. Okay, so my axis is that, and my feature to pattern is that. Okay, so it's definitely not working, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to stop this for a second, and then okay, so I think I figured out, worked out the difficulties with this. This is the circular pattern. Okay, remember, the first thing you're going to do is change this to feature. Now, what I did, I grabbed it here instead. This is my feature. Okay, the axis is going to be, let me get, see if I can turn that thing off. This is going to be my axis. Okay, so it didn't like that. Okay, so let me extrude 5 and not extrude 4. Okay, my axis is going to be, and let me just make sure it's that. Okay, so I think that's going to do it. I don't want 4. I want 5. And that is perfect. Okay, so we had to play around a little bit. That's totally fine. Okay, so next thing, we are going to hollow out the bottom using the shell command. Here's yet another little feature. Okay, so let me get, so I can see the bottom. So I'm going to push this up a little bit so I can see my bottom. Okay, now I want the shell command. So remember, if you hover over these, you can see what it says. So we want the shell command. So I'm going to hit shell, and I'm going to grab this, and this says I'm going to go a shell thickness of 0.06. So change this guy to 0.06, and that should shell it for you. Okay, so let's look at this. So look at what I have. See how it shelled it out? Isn't that cool? Okay, so we've got one more thing to do. Let me just return myself to the isometric view. So there's isometric. Here we are. Okay, so I'm going to do it so I can see my top view. Okay, it says time to personalize your screwdriver case. So I'm going to get another sketch. The sketch is going to be on top. So maybe what I'll do is go back to isometric for a sec. Right click on my top and say new sketch. Okay, so now let's go to the sketch version. I'm going to use this text box, and I'm going to put it, like, I'm going to put mine right here. So you don't want to touch the circles, so you have to kind of fit it in. Okay, right there. Okay, so default text lights up. Put your last name. If you have a long last name, try something shorter. Okay, so it did it. Yes, it did. It did that. Good, good, good. Okay, so hopefully this is going to work out. So now what I want to do is I want to extrude that. So again, get your little corner going. Extrude that. I'm going to go the other way. And I'm going to go 0.03. And we are removing, right? Okay, so there I have it. So that's really good. So now we're up to our final step. It says create a part drawing. So I'm going to go to plus, create drawing. I want to use the Good Counsel sheet. Say OK. So we're going to follow along with this document. I don't want the front view. I just want the isometric, and I'm putting it a weird place. I'm going to follow the directions and put it right here. Okay, then I want just the bottom. So I'm going to insert something else. I'm going to come up here. I'm going to pick bottom. And I'm going to put that right here. Okay, so now they want us to figure out the scale. So let's escape out of placements. Turn on your brown little box and say properties, which is here. And they want the isometric to be 2 to 1. So this is not going to be 1 to 1. That's going to be 2 to 1. So I'm going to type in the 2. Okay, so that is good. And did that go 2 to 1? Let's see. I don't think it did. So we'll do that again. View properties. Nope, it did not. Okay, do I have 2 to 1 as an option? Yes, I do. Okay, I think they prefer if I select it from the option. And the name is isometric. Okay, so that says 2 to 1. Then I want the other one to be at a different scale. So view properties there. And that is going to be 1 to 1, which is what it's set right now. So I'm going to accept that the way it is. Okay, now I have to change some things down here. Okay, this says the scale is 1 to 1, but that's not true, is it? So I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to eventually double click on there. They let me come in, and I want to say all caps and VARIES. Done. Okay, what else do I need to know about? So it looks to me like I have to write some wording here. So let's go to the text box. And I want to write, so hold on a second, let me grab this text box. I want to write something right here. And I wanted to write the word isometric. And I'm not going to have it all caps. I'm going to follow what he has done. Okay, so I'm happy with that. So let's check that. Okay, that looks good. And then I want another text box. I want this to say bottom. I'm going to hit enter. And then I am going to go all caps. And I'm going to say scale space 1 to 1. I'm going to make that box a little bit bigger so that I can use the scale and the 1 to 1 on the same line. Okay, so is there anything else? One more thing. I'm going to escape out of that. I'm going to turn this little box on again, and I am going to do 2 things. I'm going to say show shaded view. So it's shaded that. I'm also going to come back on and hide the tangent lines. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to say hide the tangent lines, just in case there's a problem there. All right, I don't think I need anything else. There are no hidden lines, right? So everything else looks good, and we are done. Okay, so you can put this in your engineering notebook, just snippet this, and you are set to go.